this interview as this discussion. It's not an interview, it's a discussion to you as part of the exhibit, so that people can hear from you as artists, how you connected with this topic and why, and what your artists, what story you're telling with your art. So we kept it to 3 questions, because the neuroscientists say 3 questions, 3 gets it. The rest, the brain fuzzes. So we've kept it to 3 questions. And you've received these questions. So the first question is kind of weird, but respond to it in your way. It's a probe more than a question. Did you encounter the concept of urbanization and health before this artist's call? And if you did, tell us about that, 1. And 2, how did the concept resonate with you as an artist when you saw this?
In 1970, before the oil boom, before Nigeria discovered oil, Nigerian means of income and export all over the world is agricultural, from cocoa, coffee, and peanuts. What you people call we call it groundnuts. So majority of the way Nigeria make money is through our agricultural products. But from the 70s, when the oil boom, Nigerian attention is diverted from the agricultural produce into oil, and because of that, they don't take care of the people in the rural area, and everybody from rural area move to the urban cities. They too want to have their own share of the oil boom. So because of that, many people move from the capital city of Nigeria then was Lagos State, and Port Harcourt, and many big cities like that. People flooded from the rural area to the cities, and that caused congestions. And even in Lagos State, people live under the bridge. Some people live about 5 people in a room, and the economy and everything is skyrocketing. People don't have enough money to rent a decent house. They sleep under the bridge just to wake up 5 a.m. to go to the port, to go to everywhere to make money. I mean, like you people say that New York is the city that never sleep.
Right.
All our urban city, like Lagos State, then every day is 24 hours and people go to work.
Very interesting. So that image that you knew from Nigeria brought you to this awareness. This is urbanization. Yes, so how did you link it when you saw the health link to that urbanization for this call? Did it remind you of any issues that you recall, and it's reflected in your art? Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, all my 3 paintings, I mean, especially 2, the oil, African wet and wool, and then the hunger in the land of plenty, which reflect it. People that used to farm, they abandon the farm land to move to the city. Even if you can see the hunger in the land of the plenty, you can see the woman with the bowl in front, and there's no food. Little agricultural production were not sold to the people of the land. They ship it. If you look at the painting, they are shipping all our resources, shipping it out into the so-called fourth world, American, Britain, and co. And where the people in the country are starving.
Yes.
Can I share that painting?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And while you share that painting, before we go to Evans, sadly, a reoccurrence of that is happening with a different power, different colonial power.
Mm-hmm.
We see that happening significantly across Africa with China.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you see, okay, the other one, the one with the baby crying, is I painted all the other countries that are abusing African, like we know I have British, America eating Nigerian food, British is eating Nigerian food, France is eating Nigerian food, and when you come to China, I make the rat to be two, because China is the current colonial
Yes.
dominator in Nigeria now. The businesses, I mean, many Nigerians are out of work. The local producer, they cannot compete with the cheap produce from China. So those are the things that are taking food out of the mouth of, literally taking food. Nigeria, I mean, the baby is crying with gold chain on his neck, plenty
Yes.
of food in the front, but it's still starving.
Yes, yes, indeed. And that's a very poignant articulation of the issue. And here we have the second piece where the oil is literally in the water. It's killing everything around it, but you know, the prosperity is marred by pollution.
Yeah, because from the painting, you can see the shack, the land where the oil is coming from.
Yes.
They live in a shack. The air pollution is there, the water pollution, and the children are taking water from the rivers that have been polluted by oil. So those many people that cannot stand it have to move from their local area into the city where there's a relatively clean air.
Yes, yes, yes. Wow, remarkable. So given that, I want to transition now to Evans and ask you, Evans, your depiction, when you saw this concept of urbanization and how you heard your colleague linking it to Nigeria, when you saw this concept, how did it resonate with you and why?
Well, health has always been a concern of mine. And during this pandemic, I made like 6 paintings. I had already created them because of the COVID.
And how did you link this to your sense of this whole notion of urbanization?
Because of the urbanization, everybody moving into the cities, there's always been homelessness. And then we had the COVID, and there was so much sickness and so much hospitalization, and everything was overwhelmed, and everybody had to stay in, and a lot of people became homeless because they lost their jobs. They couldn't afford to like he says, rent apartments, and so that's how it connected.
So this is a very good point to segue into our second question about linking art as a communicator of the health issues and this whole notion of urbanization. Art as a communicator. Talk a little bit about you as a storyteller through your art.
When I do art, I am trying to tell the story of what's happening today. It should be a record of the present time, and it should take events and conditions and movement and redefine or recreate in the artist's own understanding and concept of the situation. And so that is what I usually do if something is happening and it's very telling, and this is something that concerns the whole world. And so I looked at the past, how back in the Middle Ages, how they depicted the plagues and how the artists back then painted, and I used from that and recorded from that the allegory that they use, and that's how I connected it. So I think art should represent what's going on, what's happening now. I mean, it shouldn't just represent, it always does, whether you are trying to or not.
Yes. Thank you for that, Evans. Oyemi, tell us a little bit about your storytelling in your art.
Okay. Really, I thank God that I have opportunity to have the talent and the avenue like the work of Caroline to give us platform to tell the story. I mean, like that a quotation said, Gauguin said that art that does not show emotion is not an art. So when before I left Nigeria, back then in the 70s, when the white people are killing black people in South Africa, I was moved to see the injustice and the evil they are doing to the black people. So when I got to America, I mean, that was the first time I have opportunity to study art. And in art history, I learned about the French Revolution, liberty leading the people, and the Spanish Inquisition. All those paintings and the painting of the people of Renaissance really motivate me. In my statement, I always said, I don't like art just to be for decoration. Art is supposed to evoke, provoke, and promote positive change in our world. So that's what moved me, like now. So that's what moved me making all this painting. Most of my work, if people go into my website, I like to do political and social paintings to say something about what is going on in our world.
Very interesting. It's interesting that both of you and most artists and that the story that you depict is like Evan said, he'd been thinking about this and really focused on health, and as COVID started to emerge, he started to paint. He started to paint to begin to tell the story because this meant something to him, and his articulation of the story is putting it on the canvas. And I hear the same thing from you, Oyemi. The political economy, political scenario, socio-political scenarios, you turn to your canvas, and instead of writing with a pen, you write with your brush. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, really, really brilliant. And at this point, I want to transition Carolyn, as we're talking about art as communication. And I'm gonna pass the ball to you to go to our third probe to engage your fellow artists.
Right. So as artists, you have your medium, right? You have oil, you have acrylics, you have 2D. There are so many ways of expressing what you want to communicate. So I'll start with Evans. What is your thought process or your mindset?
No, the idea came when on the news, everywhere you see homeless people in all these different cities. I mean, I've seen homeless people from when I was a teenager in the 60s to when I came up here in the 70s, and from Trinidad, everywhere I go, any city, there's homeless people, but it became more epidemic during COVID. And so from that, I decided to make a painting about homelessness. And so I looked at different pictures, and then the collage with all the different words came because of all the different causes of homelessness. That's where I got the idea to put all those different words in there,
Wow. And what about her red shoes? Now, is there a reason?
Well, I'm just trying to show, if you look at a person, you can't tell what race they are. You just see a face and it's covered up with a mask, and you can't really tell. So I like I do in my paintings, I like to put some decoration or decorative. So that's why I painted the shoes like that, and the coat. So showing that, anybody, even persons who have nice things and was very successful in life could become homeless overnight. So that's why you see the shoes and the coat, and it has different design. Try to make it look like it's a little better quality.
Yeah, and the other thing I notice, Evans, is that there's no gender. You cannot tell the gender of the person. You know, when I looked at it, I thought, well, is that a woman? But then it doesn't. No, it could be anyone. Like you said, it's a person,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting and unique. So, again, communication, the imagery, communicating the situation and the circumstance. And I like the use of the words and the collage effect. Say all of these things are factors that create homelessness, and it could happen to anyone at any time because of joblessness or chaos in society, chaos being represented by the pandemic and different things. And then there's also violence and all these things that come together to create challenges for individuals and groups of individuals. And so they live, you know, homelessness. And homelessness is, for me, when I looked at it, it's physical homelessness, but it's also emotion and spiritual homelessness as well. I saw all of that. So while Carolyn is transitioning to pull your painting up, I'm not an artist, but I'm a connoisseur of art. And I like to, I snoop and see, okay, what's the artist saying here? And wow, that's really telling me what story am I evoking when I look at a piece of art? And I'm one of those people who I go for the wow effect. It resonates with me because I can see people and I can see a story. And just like with Evans's work, when I saw the medium, the collage he used for the homeless woman, or the interesting strokes in the ICU and the patient, I see the same evocative use of brushstrokes and colors and textures in Oyemis. And Carolyn, as the artist, as you're ready now, you have the photos. I'll pinch it back to you.
I'm looking at, and this one is called Africant, right?
Yeah.
And this is a story about it. Now, it's like, it's the exploitation of African people. And you give a very good explicative about this whole story. I'm interested, I'm just questioning here about it looks like a Chinese the rat, right?
Yeah.
With this Chinese hat on.
Yeah.
So you have all different cultures here.
Yeah.
You have another rat with another different hat on. You got different foods. So you're bringing in culinary arts, even to this painting. And we know how Africa and Biafra, how the children are shown as hungry, but Tommy looks full, even though his arms look really taut, tin hat. So how did you come up with, can you tell us about all the different countries that have, and even though here you have the sunshine, now is that sunshine going up or coming down is one of my questions. These are the questions that I have when I look.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, from the slavery to the colonialism, the Western world have been dominating Africa. Even up to the present moment, the economy and the political situation in Africa is being controlled by the Western world. If we have African leaders that want to stand up to the Western world, they will plan coup to remove him, to have somebody there to do their bidding. So the Western world, America, because the American Abraham Lincoln hat, that's American. I mean, when you hear American, I mean, we say American. I forgot the terms to be used. I mean, American interest. When they're talking about American interest, they talk about British interest. They're not talking about the indigenous interest. So when the America goes into war, it's because of what they are going to get. When British go to war, it's not because they really have pity on the people. They go there for their own interest. So that's what I'm trying to show here. That I mean, Africa, I'm proud to be an African. Anywhere I go, I want to exhibit my work and exhibit my culture. That's why I dress this way. We have different negative image of Africa. Africa is not poor. Africa is rich. Atmospherically and everything, Africa is rich. People, a poor person can wear the same attire from January to December. You don't have to have a winter coat. The climate condition is perfect for us. We don't have a tornado that is too powerful. The only problem we have is the bad leaders. The bad leaders being put in on African as a head of state for Western world to have what they, I mean, our oil is being controlled by the BP, British Petroleum, and all these people.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, that's why I put. I mean, I don't want to insult the country, but I don't have any other way to use them to speak my mind about what is going on. They are like a rat taking food out of the mouth of Africa. That's why I put all those people there. Now, before the, right from the 60s to up to now, the Western world dominates everything in Africa. Well, when the Chinese wake up, the Chinese used to be away from the rest of the world. When the Chinese wake up, they are dominating everything in Africa. They will give them money to African leaders, and if they cannot pay back, they take their majority of their mineral resources. So that's why I put the Chinese as a two rats eating Africa.
Yeah.
Because they are dominating everything in Africa these days.
Wow.
The ray of light is to be my hope. If you read my thing to the end, I say that the moment the African say no to exploitation, that's when the ray of hope, that's the era of the dawn of the new day for Africa to be what they're supposed to be. So that's why, like the cloud at the back, dramatically, through the problem, the light will still shine. That's what I'm trying to say with the ray of light behind the boy.
Okay, great. Thank you. So it's what I thought. So I wasn't sure if it was sunset or sunrise.
It's sunrise.
So it's a sunrise.
That's everything is not going to be doom. One day, Africa will learn to say no to exploitation, and then the sun rays of opportunity and riches will come back to Africa.
Okay, and the last question I have for you is this one here. This one here, this export. We all have seen these ships with the truck crates and so forth. So this is resources leaving the country of Africa and going all over. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And who is this holding? You have his face covered or his back.
Yeah, because
who is that?
Like in the wharf, Africa, they carry their luggage at the export into the ship with their back.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, and then here you have plates that are empty. So that means that even though the mother's breastfeeding, she herself isn't feeding herself. Huh?
Yeah.
Is that what that? Okay.
That's what it is. You can see the cow, the dying cow, because of the farmland is not being taken care of, and the little that being produced is being exported into the other part of the world. I mean, both our human resources and our produce is being exported.
Okay.
Like in America now, we have a lot of genius and Nigerians and doctors that are doing a lot of exploit in American hospitals. making money for America, whereas we don't have quality health care in Nigeria. I mean, there's a lot of brilliant doctors in Nigeria, but when there's no opportunity for them to practice, they move to Dubai to make money, and they move to America.
Ah, I see.
So we are losing manpower and resources.
Okay, thank you, Oyemi. I just want to quickly ask Evans about his ICU painting. Now, Evans, can you talk about the fact that this is so realistic almost? Now, I know it's not super realism and it's almost abstract, the strokes and so forth, but did you yourself personally have any experience with this scene in an ICU with one of your family or friends?
Not with COVID. Not with COVID, but I've had a lot of experience in the ICU because my wife had seizures while she was alive. For 16 years, at any given time, at least 4 times a year, she would have to go to the emergency room. And a lot of times she ended up in the ICU. So I was in the ICU a lot. So I knew how the ICU operate, what it looked like, how stressful and disabled it could get. So that's why I decided to do something about the ICU. So I didn't have none of my family was sick during the COVID to go to the ICU, but I could think about it and see it in my mind how it must be. And I did look at some pictures online about ICUs and I got ideas from that. But yeah, I had a lot of experience with ICUs.
It comes through in your work. It 100% comes through. I really feel this is quite successful. You could see the turmoil, the energy, but even still, like Oyemi's, there's still a feeling of hope because of the high yellow colors that really, for me, it represents light and hope and sunshine.
Oh yeah, but I'm always optimistic.
Yeah, and that also comes through. So again, congratulations on this piece. I mean, it's just been spectacular. And the way you did the brush strokes, mostly it's the patient herself, right? You could, I don't know how to express it, but again, and the doctors, you have like 1, 2, 3 healthcare providers, they're doctors or technicians taking care. And then on up here, you have hands coming out. Are those 2 hands coming out?
Yes, there are hands coming out. It's like, a doctor comforting a patient and holding their hand.
Yes. For me, this is a very good balance between the abstract expressionist almost and also figurative. So you have enough.
Yeah.
So for art, for art collectors, as Dr. Thomas, she likes to see people in there. So it's a clear story for her. So you did a very good balance for those who love abstract and those who love the figurative. So that's what I wanted here. Even the detail of the instruments, the buttons and the these things. So again, very, very well done. Very well done.
Yeah, thank you. Rosen call it semi-abstract.
And I'm sorry that your wife had to go through trial.
Oh yeah, she had MS for 20 years.
Wow. And I'm sure that somehow the urbanization, it came through, and the stress of it probably impacted her body.
Well, she died almost 5 years ago. Okay.
This is a nice segue to say that, I really appreciate the conversation with you as artists to get some insights into how we're able to connect. Because like I say, in public health, art is critical into telling the story of health as it impacts individuals in society, as it impacts communities, as it impacts all of us in countries, in municipalities, and around the world. I know this is almost a cliche these days. People say the world is a global village, but the reality it is. And the notion of mutual vulnerability, because even looking at this painting of Evans's in an ICU, this kind of scenario is important, not only in the global north, but in the global south. And being able to provide care for every individual across the world is as important in a community in the UK, in the US, a community in Nigeria, in Ibadan, in Edo State, wherever you are, in Port of Spain, in Georgetown, because we are interacting human beings. Just as we, on this interview, are in different parts of the world, in different states, in different cities, it's the same. And so we connect with each other significantly through art. So I just want to say how important your work as artists. Carolyn herself, an artist, can link the abstract and the brush strokes and the story and the light and the scenarios. I come to it as a public health individual thinking, oh my gosh, this is the story of health in any community, in any city, around, in any country across the globe. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to collaborate with you. And I look forward to many more collaborations of this kind.
Thank you very much for giving us the
Thank
platform. We can produce work, but without people like you, our work will stay in our studio or under our bed. So thank you for supporting us and sponsor these shows.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you.
Same here.
Thank you.
Same,
Yeah. Yeah.
same here. Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Dr. Thomas, for being such a wonderful and generous sponsor of this. Thank you so
Yes.
very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Caroline. As I keep on saying to you on my email, I mean, you did what you are doing is very professional. I mean, the way you communicate with us, like I took part in many art shows that the organizer, they don't know what they are doing. They do not communicate with us enough. I mean, what you are doing is excellent. So thank you very much, Caroline.
Yes.
Thank
and
you for that feedback.
I second that. It's remarkable. I had no idea how much work Carolyn puts into these events until I started working with her. And literally, I say to my team, I can't believe she has done this all by herself all these years. So I need members of my team to take bits and pieces of what she's doing. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
The communication is excellent. And the product, the video, everything is so, top notch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I have to say, and I say this over and over again, the work that you guys do, that we do together, it gives me the energy to keep doing it. So it's a two-way street. Because I know you're happy with what's going on, it gives me the energy to keep doing even better, right? So as long as you guys are happy, I'm happy.
Thank you very much.
And that's a great note to end on. And so I want to thank everyone. Thank you. And do allow us the privilege of circling back to you at different points, and because this exhibit is going to run for the rest of the year. So allow us to come back to you in roundtable discussions so we can share and engage. So please, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay.
Have a
Bye.
nice day.
You too.